I see you and you see me. Watch you blowing the line when you're making a scene. Oh girl, you've got to know what my head overlooks. The senses will show. Private eyes, they're watching you. They see your every move. Private eyes, they're watching you. Private eyes, watching you.
Hello there. Welcome to LMNOP, the podcast about the best show on television, Elementary.
Supergirl. I almost said Scrubs, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the first one I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supergirl is not the best show on television, and I know this from the 30 seconds of it I've watched.
I thought you were saying some kind of snake TV show.
I love Snake. Snake.
No, because that's what snakes say is.
Oh. What's that mean?
I don't speak snake.
Oh, okay. So you probably didn't even say anything there.
I was
Or
probably
you
just
said
being
something super offensive.
prejudiced, making up sounds.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Val Flight Cub, aka 8 Eggs, 1 Bowl.
And I'm your other host, Alec, aka your Clyde or Die.
Today we are talking about Season 1, Episode 13 of Elementary,
The Red Team.
The Red Team.
It's a big game of flag football.
It's 45 minutes of flag football, yeah. Bill's really good at flag football.
He's short, but that makes it easy to slip between defenders.
Mm-hmm. And you know he's speedy. He just looks like he's a speedy guy.
Very aerodynamic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
Gregson? Terrible.
he's old.
Yeah.
He's huffing and puffing.
Bones are creaking all over the place.
I don't know if he's that old.
Nah, he is.
Okay. Well, anyway, spoilers, that's not what this episode is actually about.
Dang it.
So this episode opens on where the last episode closed, actually.
Oh?
So the last episode ended with that single note card on the wall that just said Moriarty.
Moriarty.
Period. And now the wall has expanded quite a lot.
Yes, now there's like hundreds of index cards that say Moriarty period on them.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a little brick pattern. It's nice.
Yeah, it's the Moriarty wall.
No, what it actually has is news clippings, things, printouts, I don't even know, pictures of things in places.
All I noticed was a picture of Napoleon.
Mm-hmm. That's all Joan noticed, too, because she was like, what does Napoleon Bonaparte have to do with the person that killed the love of your life, Irene Adler?
And he was like, well, after my 5th day of not sleeping, maybe I was starting to reach.
It's reaching a little bit. And Joan says, well, it's Wednesday, because you slept for 2 days. And Sherlock says, oh, that's why I'm so hungry. So he goes to the kitchen and he cracks an egg in a bowl, and then he cracks an egg in a bowl, and then he cracks an egg in the bowl, and then he cracks an egg in the bowl, and then he cracks an egg in a bowl, and so on until he has 8 eggs in the bowl. And then he fries it, he pours it into his pan.
He pours it into his pants.
And right into his pants, yeah.
Like, this is where they go.
These eggs are gonna go straight to my thighs. Pouring eggs into... I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start pretending to be normal and then say things like, this donut's gonna go straight to my hips, and then smushing it on my butt.
Do you like your eggs scrambled or sunny side up your butt?
So Sherlock has been suspended because of the whole wanting to murder and torture a guy thing.
Oh, what? The police have rules now?
Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to stab somebody with an ice pick just because you're mad at them. Is apparently one of them.
Sounds lame, but okay.
Mm-hmm. And so he says, it's good, though, because I get to spend some time on my hobby, which is not bees, but it's actually conspiracy theorists.
You mean conspiracy theories?
He's got a big colony of conspiracy theorists in a hive. No,
well,
yes.
they do have hive minds.
So Joan says, wait, your hobby is conspiracy theories? And Sherlock says, no, I like theorists. I think they're funny. And stupid.
He's like, conspiracy theories are dumb. There's no way thousands of people can keep a secret.
Mm-hmm.
But conspiracist theorists...
Yeah.
Yeah, conspiracist theorists. They're dumb but fun.
Yes, yes. And he says, you ever heard of the conspiracy that the CIA invented crack? And Joan said yes, and I said yes. And he said, I invented that one. He loves to just mess with them. The CIA inventing crack cocaine is one of those conspiracy theories where I'm like, but I mean, Did they not, though?
Yeah, but you believe we landed on the moon?
Yes.
You know what happened?
What?
We overshot the moon and landed on Mars, but nobody was going to believe that, so we just pretended it was the moon.
And it was on black and white.
Yeah.
So
It's before color.
So we couldn't see that it was the orange planet. Mm-hmm. That's what Mars is called, right?
The orange planet.
The orange planet. Yeah.
It's fucking red.
You're so pretentious.
The orange red. The blood orange
The blood orange planet. That's when we invade Mars and have a war with them. So Sherlock has a plan for the day to go on this website and mess with some conspiracy theorists. He's going to message the admin or the mod or whatever and be like, did you know that global warming is making it so that the Appalachian foothills will soon be beachfront property? And we're moving the capital to Omaha. And a bunch of elite people are buying soon-to-be beachfront property there.
Which I don't understand, because I thought he was going to spread a fake theory.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is he wrong? No. Do I believe it? Yes. I don't think Omaha is going to be the capital.
They have a great zoo.
Lots of places have good zoos.
I've never been to a better zoo than in Omaha, Nebraska.
Our bathroom has a good zoo. It's called the Soap Zoo. It's where all the soaps are.
It's not a zoo. That's just a display.
It's all our soap. Yeah, it's a zoo. What is that? What else does zoo mean?
Zoo is animals.
We're animals looking at the soap.
You're an idiot.
I'm beginning to suspect I'm stupid.
But that's just a theory.
It
A
is.
conspiracy theory.
So yeah, that's Sherlock's plans for the day. He's gonna have some fun.
How exciting.
And apparently the guy's name is Zapruder.
Zaprude.
Zapruder. He's the prudiest. Then we cut to Joan at therapy, and she's talking about Sherlock. And I thought last episode it was total bullshit. Like, she was just like, oh, he could relapse any second. Guess I better stick around and learn how to be a detective.
Yeah.
But she's talking to the therapist, and she says, he's still fragile, and being suspended from the police department is a big disruption of his routine. Mm-hmm. And it's a big, that was a lot of structure that was provided to him. So without that, he's in a more fragile state. And then the therapist is like, but now you're lying to him because your contract is up. So that's a breach of trust. What if he finds out that you've been lying to him, and then you're the reason that he relapses because you're his trust in you is a structure that he has relied upon.
Oh no! Actions have consequences!
It's fucked up if true. And Joan is like, well, shut up.
I don't pay you to tell me how to live my life.
Yeah. She doesn't appreciate the advice that her therapist is giving her.
Yeah. Just tell me I'm doing great, pat me on the back, and send me on my way.
Mm-hmm. That's some of the greatest moments in therapy, when you're telling your therapist something, and they're like, ugh, that sucks. Or whatever. You make a joke and she laughs. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's why I don't do therapy, because that's all it would be. It's me trying to make my therapist laugh. God, I have issues.
It's worth it. You should do it anyway. Let's pretend it's the joking thing and not the health insurance thing and the Byzantine medical system that our country is horribly...
Yeah, funny joke. Haha.
It's because you're too much comedian. So Joan gets a text during therapy that says, I am going to this house. Meet me there. And the therapist is like, hey, so don't burn through your savings just because someone who's not your client is potentially still in danger of relapsing.
Or if you're going to do it, just admit to yourself it's because you like being a detective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He'll give you a stipend at that point. So the reason they're at somebody's house is because Sherlock was trying to message Zapruder and he didn't take the bait. So he's like, that was very unlike him to not go along with a new conspiracy theory. So he talked to the other people on the board and they were like, yeah, we haven't heard from this guy since Sunday. Mm. So they're at his house. They're inside of his house, which is trespassing. Sherlock says the other people on the message boards think he might be in a NASA prison or a black site or something. And Joan is like, do you think that? Sherlock's like, no, NASA doesn't have a prison.
On Earth. But it's very possible that he had a heart attack or fell down the stairs.
Right, like he could just be regular dead from normal things.
Yeah, not conspiracy dead. So
then they walk into the living room, and there he is.
Safe and sound.
He's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's hanging from a... he's hanging, and his pants are around his ankles.
Yeah. It's an apparent autoerotic asphyxiation.
So they bring in Belle and everybody, and Belle is like, okay, so why did you bring us down here for an autoerotic asphyxiation? Autoerotic asphyxiation. And Sherlock's like, well,
We don't know that that's what it is.
yeah.
Until we take that belt off and examine the ligature marks.
And the belt seems to be the wrong size for the guy.
Yeah.
And his finger is fractured. So
Hard to jerk off with a broken finger.
he basically says that, yeah. Yeah, so, maybe he would have waited a week to do that.
But also just go lefty?
Maybe that's why he had, that's why he had to go the extra step. Just because he couldn't use his good hand.
Yeah. The lefty is such a handicap that you're going to add a whole bunch of extras on.
Like the potential of death.
Yeah. Whenever I masturbate with my left hand, I let a tiger into the room.
And I don't have a left hand.
Thanks to the tiger.
So Bella's like, okay, thanks for the tip, but like you're suspended, so you should go home. And Sherlock is like, okay, we will. Right after we grab all this evidence and look at it. So
They grab all the evidence.
So the evidence includes his notes and stuff, and he's got all these binders of conspiracies. And also, who's there?
Clyde,
Clyde.
the turtle.
He's a turtle.
He's a little baby turtle.
Yeah, he's very small.
Yeah, it's like the he would fit in your hand.
He's like a box turtle size.
Yeah, I mean, it
think.
depends on the box. It's a small box. It's not like a flat screen TV box turtle.
That's true. It's not like a boxcar.
Yeah.
Box turtle hook door. So Jones says, we should take these binders that he has all of his conspiracy theories in. And Sherlock is like, well, they're all just random, like none of them make sense or are plausible, but okay, fine. And then when they take the binders and when they go to take Clyde,
Because this is really sweet. They take Clyde because he would die otherwise.
yes, he would,
Except Sherlock says that he takes Clyde
for soup.
to turn him into turtle soup.
Yep.
But when he's looking into Clyde's tank, he sees a bunch of rocks, and one of them is bigger and more jagged than the rest.
Very fake looking.
Yeah, and so he picks that bad boy up and opens it up, and inside is a little listening device.
That's not the kind of bug you're supposed to put in a tortoise's cage.
Yeah.
Also,
so,
I don't think tortoises eat bugs.
well, it just gets me wondering, what is Clyde up to? And who's watching him?
Yeah, Clyde's part of a family,
Oh.
if you know what I mean. I want that guy to take a long walk off a short pier, but it's long because it takes him a long time because he's a tortoise.
He's part of the Testudo family.
The Testudo.
Testudos.
Got a long history with the
Yeah.
Testudos.
Testudo.
What is that?
That's the scientific familia name for a tortoise.
But it's also the name of the familia.
Hey, you mess with the Testudo, you mess with all the Testudos.
Yeah, that's my sister. Huh?
Huh?
No, not that one. You come to me on the day of my head of lettuce eating. Tortoises don't have like weddings and stuff.
I'll make him a shell he can't refuse.
That picture of the tortoise, the like 140-year-old tortoise with her 5-day-old child as her hat.
Yeah.
It's the head of the family now.
It's the head of the lettuce of the family.
Head of the lettuce of the family. So yeah, Clyde has been bugged, apparently. So they take that home too, of course, and they're looking at it. Well, actually, Sherlock just like crunches it up with a shoe. He just like looks at it for like a second, and then he's just like crunch, just beats
Breaks
the
it up.
shit out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jonah's like, "Why did you do that?"
He's like, I just wanted to fuck with whoever was listening. Some guy in a warehouse just like throws off his headphones. He's like, god damn.
Yeah, all the feedback and shit. And because he knows already that it's a government created bug.
It's a specific brand that is not available to be bought by civilians.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So they've got to look into why. Maybe Clyde was up to something.
Yeah.
Or maybe his owner, his roommate, you could say, was onto one of the conspiracy theories. Maybe one of them was real.
NASA moon base prison.
And NASA people. So there's one that's not completely bogus sounding. And
One conspiracy theory.
one conspiracy theory that's not
That
completely...
isn't completely Looney Tunes. Ironically, it's about Looney Tunes. Just kidding.
Oh, okay. It's about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So the Army, it's about an Army game. And they do this game every year with the red team and the blue team, where they do a drill where the red team pretends to be bad guys who hate America. And they plan an attack on American soil. And then the blue team is the, good guys, quote unquote.
Yeah, the post office workers.
And they have to stop it. And every year they publish the results in this journal, except for in 2009.
What happened in 2009?
We don't know, because the results were classified immediately and never put anywhere.
Ooh.
Maybe because the blue team didn't win that year.
Well, I don't think. I'm sure the blue team sometimes loses because they just don't have good people. However, it's a war game. People are watching the game, and then people that aren't playing the game are watching. And if red team comes up with something that even they can't figure out a way to stop.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
So the theory is the red team found a flaw in in national security that's horrible and can't be resolved. It's like
They found the coronavirus.
it's like that movie that you said where the director got interrogated because it was such a good bank heist.
Yeah.
It's it's pretend, but also is it? So it was a drill to test military response to sleeper cells.
It was the My Pillow guy.
That's what the pillows are made of, is those cells. So there's one member of the red team that is one person that's a purported member of the red team that's been killed.
Yes, because Sephora, or whatever conspiracy theories guy name is.
Zapruder.
Yeah, Mr. Prude, he's been doing research into it, and he thinks he found out some of the members of the team.
He thinks he found one
Right.
who's dead.
And he's dead.
Yeah.
And apparent mugging, but...
Who carries a mug these days? Nobody. So, it was this expert in counterinsurgents. So Sherlock is telling Joan this whole theory, and he's showing all the evidence that he's got, and Joan is like, and what's the lettuce for? And Sherlock's like, oh, thanks for reminding me. And he opens up a little drawer in the desk, and there's Clyde.
There's Clyde.
Just, hello.
He's being a turtle.
And he just the same way that that guy puts the salt on that meat in the, that meme?
Oh, yeah.
The sprinkling?
The sprinkle, yeah.
He kind of Emerald, bam, throws the lettuce.
Lettuce.
We're doing a bad job of explaining it. Maybe you should watch the episode to see what I mean. It's very funny. And it's funny to see Clyde in a little drawer.
Yeah, it's cute.
Animals in drawers are always pretty funny.
All right, get in, Balto.
We don't have a big enough crate or big enough anything to put him in. I do kind of, when it's like a cat, it's funny, but then I'm I hope you never close that drawer again. Because when they, that's always a funny video of opening the drawer, surprise, there's a kitten in there. But then I'm you're not leaving the kitten in the drawer with the drawer closed, right?
Not for multiple days.
God. Ugh. So anyway, now we move on. Joan is talking to Captain at the police
Office.
station. Police office. Yeah, she's at his police office, and she's like, listen, Sherlock is really sorry. He told me that. I heard him say it, and
He's really broken up that he almost tortured and killed somebody.
he feels bad. So what does he have to do to come back? And Captain is like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't give a heck. He doesn't give two hecks about that. He's not sorry. And Joan is like, what does he have to do to come back? And Captain is like, nothing. He can't.
Yeah.
He's
like, everybody has thought about taking revenge for something, but nobody that works with me is ever going to act on that.
he says incorrectly. There's a lot of revenge in this show.
Yeah.
But actually, the people that do revenge always get in trouble. So he is a man of his word. Anyway, and so Joan gets a text from Sherlock, and Captain's like, oh, is that him saying he's sorry? No.
It actually does say, it says, dearest Watson, I'm sorry that Gregson's being a big stinky poo-poo head.
Sorry you feel that way. If Sherlock was to apologize through text, it would be like SRY number 4 TAM, like torture and murder attempt. Or like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, sorry for your feelings.
Sorry that you don't like that I'm smarter than you. And that you're threatened by my torture plan. So Joan goes to meet up with Sherlock. He is at a long-term care facility in Queens. And there's this guy. Now, this guy's being cared to by a worker at this long-term care facility who, their profile, I was like, oh my god, it's Moriarty! Like, as a preview to later when Moriarty is revealed, Moriarty's already involved in the story here. And then they showed a wider shot and it was a totally different person. And I was like, oh, never mind. I was like, how does this connect? It doesn't. So the guy they're going to talk to is this guy, Carlo Anillo, who is a potential red teamer because he has a PhD in civil engineering. He traveled to the city on the days that the war game was being played. He has early onset, rapid affecting Alzheimer's. So he has like ultra mega right away.
Yeah, I mean, because he's like a young dude. He's like, probably 30s, 40s.
He's 40s. I don't know why I said 30s. Yeah.
Late 30s.
Late 30s that it's into the 40s.
Yeah, the 30 teens.
And nobody in his family has Alzheimer's.
Which Joan says is weird because almost every case of early onset Alzheimer's has a family history of Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm.
Just suspicious and suspicious. So they ask Mr. Anillo, do you remember, doing this military war game? Do you remember going to college to get your PhD in civil engineering? Do you remember anything? And he's like, my dad was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
And then Joan asks him another question, and he kind of like spaces out, and she calls his name a couple times, and he comes to, and so she's like, does he do that a lot? She asks the caretaker, and they say, yeah, it happens.
He just spaces out.
It's a symptom of Alzheimer's, and Joan's like, I think that might have been a mini seizure,
micro seizure.
Yeah, and caretaker's like, no, I asked the doctor, and she said that doesn't happen with this kind of Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So now we're super sus.
Mm-hmm. Because
things aren't adding up. And
Joan is pretty sure that that's what happened.
Yeah, I love this moment. The caretaker walks out, and Sherlock just looks at Joan and goes, "You certain it was a mini seizure, micro seizure?"
He just says seizure.
Whatever.
So now they're talking to each other in the hallway. And I just noticed, I don't know, this shot just kind of gave me a nice feeling because it's like the hallway is like white and red and it looks just kind of like pinkish, and Sherlock just looked I guess because I'd already seen the episode, I wasn't super paying attention to what they were saying. And I was just like, oh, he looks cute. And then it cut to Joan, and she also is in the same color hallway, obviously, because she's in the same hallway. And I was just like, this just looks nice. But what they're actually talking about is that this guy has been poisoned.
Yeah.
So apparently, domoic acid poisoning can cause micro seizures and lead to all of the symptoms that this guy has.
Which makes sense, because anything that sounds like demon poisoning can't be good.
Yeah. Yeah. He got some hell weed.
Got demon seed.
Demon seed.
Alien DNA.
Right. So Sherlock is like, so the good news is we can test for my theory. And I thought he was going to say domoic poisoning is reversible, but he doesn't say anything about that. He's just like, luckily that means we'll know if I'm right. So he calls Bell because he's like, this is, 2 red teamers now, incapacitated one way or the other. Because the idea is, if we get rid of them, if they die, then the secret dies with them. And so this guy with domoic acid poisoning, like he doesn't have to be dead, but his memory is gone.
Yeah, it's more creative way to get rid of the secret.
Mm-hmm. So,
The next one's going to wind up being alive, but with no tongue or fingers.
so Sherlock calls Belle to say, we figured it out. It's a war game thing. It's whatever. And Belle is like, okay, but we just arrested the guy who killed Zapruder.
I like how he answers the phone, though. He's like, we sure are talking a lot for two people that aren't working together.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Belle, he has a crush on you. You're going to call him out like that?
So they have an arrest.
They do. Gary Sullivan is this guy from the chat room who killed him kind of in the fit of rage and didn't mean to and felt so bad about it that he came in and confessed. And I was like, wow, who got him to confess to this? Like, this sounds so fake, but it's real. He did it.
Yeah, it is real. And then, like, it's never really mentioned again.
No.
There's like one comment where Sherlock's like, yeah, someone else may have killed Zapruder, but the rest of this stuff is legit and we should look into it.
Yeah, we did still stumble upon a conspiracy.
I'm still worked up about the fact that Gary killed his conspiracy friend and then roped him up to an autoerotic asphyxiation.
And pulled his pants down.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about desecrating a corpse.
Jeez.
Just don't.
Leave.
Yeah, just put a post-it note that says sorry. So Sherlock goes...
Or just, you're a conspiracy theorist. Just write, it was the NRA.
NRA?
Yeah, fuck them.
Guns do kill people. Sincerely, the NRA. So this is really funny. Sherlock goes into the interrogation room where Gary Sullivan is. And he's like, let me get this straight. Neither of you think the moon landing happened. And Gary Sullivan's like, no. The argument is over who staged the fake landing. I think...
Well, I know. It was Stanley Kubrick.
Uh-huh. Why do you think that?
Okay, well, I'm not going to engage in a conversation with you if you're going to disrespect me like that.
I'm asking it because I don't know.
I just said I know, and now you're saying, why do you think that? Pfft, I don't need to talk to you. Do your own research.
I heard that it was Stanley Kubrick, but he's so committed to his craft that he insisted they do it on site. I watched a thing, though, actually, about how because the shadows on the Moon Man are like fully the angle is such that they would have needed to get a big light that was like the size of a wall, and they didn't have lights like that in the 50s.
Yeah.
So, or the 60s. When did we know?
69.
69.
Nice.
They didn't have lights like that in the 60s, 9s. So
also, I know that we did it because Buzz Aldrin will punch you in the face if you say we did it.
Oh my god. What a hero.
Well, the first man on the moon. He was the second man on the moon, but he doesn't like to be referred to as the second man on the moon. He likes to be referred to as one of the first men on the moon.
Oh. Who was the first one?
Neil Armstrong.
I have replaced my brain.
With 2 potato chips.
Mm-hmm. They're mushy now.
But one of them is barbecue.
Ugh.
Yeah, I hate barbecue chips.
They're fine, but I don't want them as a brain.
No, they're not. They're gross.
So, anyway. So, Sherlock is talking to Captain, because he's like, okay, so, fine, it was Gary, but, Gary who staged the moon landing. But that doesn't mean that we didn't stumble across a real conspiracy theorist. A real conspiracy, a real conspiracy, not a theory, but a fact. And the captain is like, thank you very much, citizen of New York, for your assistance and the tip that led to the arrest of Gary Sullivan. Have a great day and call our helpline if you have any more questions. And Sherlock's like, what are you doing?
Why are you talking to me like this?
What are you doing? And Captain is like, you're fucking suspended. You're not supposed to be in here. Get the heck out. And Sherlock's like, so now you're punishing me just because I wanted to kill and torture a guy.
Yeah, so unfair.
So you're being so childish right now. So Captain is still pissed at him, obviously. And so he leaves. And now Sherlock and Jonah are going to go to a stakeout in the classic stakeout location of car. They're just in a random rental car, which is better than sometimes they break into cars. And this is the best. There's static coming out of the radio. And Jonah's like, why are we sitting here listening to static? And he's like, you got to pick the last song.
So this is my choice.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a song. Static never ends.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was going to be fair, I mean, listen, if he chose like 3.5 minutes of static, I think that'd be fair.
Yeah. Who knows how long it's been?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's more of a 7 minutes kind of situation.
Ooh.
You know, what songs are 7 minutes?
Led Zeppelin's Hannafin.
Straight him.
And Pink Floyd's
Oh, this classic Pink Floyd song name. Let's say it at the same time. Catch me on the list. It's somewhere in there. So Joan says, "You should tell the captain you're sorry." And Sherlock's like, "Why would I lie, though?"
Yeah, he's like, "Captain's a smart boy. He can tell that I'm being insincere."
Yeah.
He's like, "It just sounds like a waste of time for everyone involved."
Yeah. And he's like, if they really do want to protect and serve, then the best way to protect and serve the city would be to let me do my work, because I'm a special boy and I'm very good at it, and I'm smarter than everybody in the room and in the world. Sorry, Joan.
He's like, people don't like to hear it, but I'm smarter than everyone.
Yeah. And Jonah's like, "You're a dick." And he's like, "See? You didn't like to hear it." So the reason they are on a stakeout is because they are watching Zapruder's house, his apartment.
Why would they be doing that, though?
Because there was a boog in there.
Oh, a listening device, which probably means there are more. Mm-hmm. And somebody would want them because they're freaking expensive.
Yeah, if nothing else.
You gotta pick them back up.
Mm-hmm. So there's this guy who's been parked in front of them for a while. That's a cable, quote unquote, cable van. And Sherlock's like, obviously he's not installing anything. I don't know why it's obvious that he's not installing anything, but...
Yeah, unless Zapruder owned the entire building.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not...
Like, there could be other tenants,
Yeah.
Sherlock.
Maybe it's a brownstone situation where every door only goes to one apartment. Whatever. So they realize that it's definitely him, and they're going to follow him back to his work. And they do, and he goes and up an elevator and then disappears into a weirdly empty warehouse office type thing.
Huh.
And they can't just open the door to the office. So there's this like video camera outside the entrance, and Sherlock takes out his little Ziploc baggie of all the bug that he smashed up into little pieces, and he waves it in front of the camera, and the door unlocks, and he goes in. And there's fucking nothing in this office.
There are chairs and tables and no decorations, no plants, nothing on said tables nor chairs.
Huge empty space as well. Yeah. Not very feng shui of them. So...
It's very minimalistic of them.
Mm-hmm. Minimalism. So this guy comes out and he says, "Howdy. We're a regular office. We're normal."
Well, welcome to the offices of regular business.
Yeah, it's been slow. And Sherlock says, "I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm a temporarily suspended consultant for the SPIB."
Mm-hmm.
What am I trying to...
NYPD.
I would have gotten it if you hadn't said it also.
Okay.
NYPD.
Dope.
And this is Joan Watson, my associate. She keeps me from doing heroin. And who are you? So the whole valet, bodyguard thing, that's just out the window, I guess.
Well, I loved it because, you know, he is just 100% honest here. Because, like, even later, someone... Oh, no, in the... When they go to see Camilo Cabello in the hospital where he has Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. The caretaker asks, you said you work with the NYPD? And Sherlock's like, yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time. Yeah. Yeah. So Sherlock is like, here's everything about us. Yeah. This is my underwear size.
We were honest with you, so you
Yeah.
gotta be honest with us. What's your underwear size?
Yeah.
Probably large.
And the guy's like, "My name's Bill."
I don't wear undies.
He literally just says, "I'm Bill." That's it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Okay, we followed a guy who like was retrieving a bug. So what do you guys do in this supposed so-called office, if that is your real building name?" And Bill says, "Oh, I'm gonna have lunch with my sister. She works here. I don't know what they do."
No. The guy that took the bug goes into the office, and Sherlock mentions that, and Bill says, "Oh, his sister works here. That's why he's here."
Oh, his sister.
Yeah.
I thought Bill said my sister.
No.
I actually wrote in my notes that Bill says that the guy was Bill's sister's boyfriend, and they were going to lunch. And I was just like, huh? Why would he works with his sister?
Yep, you gotta make things complicated if you want to make them believable.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that work in the office that I work at. There are a lot of people with the same last name that are, but most of them I think are father and son or such relations as that. It is weird. I was in an office one time and this guy was like, "Dad, have you done the transfer to blah, 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 blah?" I was just like, "Oh, right. Okay. Yeah."
It's like, should we be keeping this professional, Mr. Dad?
So this Bill guy's not giving up anything. And Sherlock's like, "I know you're looking into the red team. The red team, whose names are Abanabanamana, Crabapple Delicious,
Grape Red or Green.
and Dresden, and Walt,
And Fred Flintstone.
and Fred Flintstone." And Bill's like, "I've never heard of people before, so you should leave. And you can take this bug with you. I've never seen it. I don't know what that is. I didn't say it was a bug, huh?" And Jones says, as they're walking away, she goes, "Okay, either that was a waste of time or I'm going to be audited until I die." And Sherlock says, "Well, I wasn't sure who the red team people were, so I listed off all the people that I suspected." And Mr. Bill, so-called Bill, clenched his teeth for some names and not others.
A little mentalist action going on.
So they know. Now he's sure who the members of the red team are. And then they get a call from Bell, who says, "Yes, we checked Neo and he was poisoned. So Captain wants you to come in and tell us everything you know." And Sherlock is like, "That's going to take a long time."
I was like, it's about time.
So, next thing we see is a guy named Walter McClanahan coming in to the police station, and Sherlock's like, welcome, Walter McClanahan, systems analyst. Great to see you. Come on into this room." And he looks like a conspiracy theorist himself.
Yeah, he looks. I mean, he looks like the stereotypical ragged veteran.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
because he is a veteran.
he is. Yeah,
Former. They say what his rank was. I don't remember what it's.
lieutenant colonel. But yeah, just clearly not a man that reintegrated to society well.
So, he goes into the room, and there's 3 other people already sitting at the table, the conference table. And he's like, "I don't know who these people are. What's happening?" And it's all the other members of the red team.
The ones that are alive or have their memories.
And so Sherlock is like, "Listen, we think you're all in danger. So we need to figure out who's targeting you. Who do you guys think is targeting you? What was your plan? What happened?" And they're all like, we can't say.
We can't say anything.
One guy's like, "If we all say, then none of us are, if they can't expel all of us from school." And another guy says, "No, it's treason to even say anything at all. We cannot." So they all leave. But one of them tosses a little piece of paper into the trash can while she leaves.
Which I gotta say, I have no idea when she had time to write this.
Me neither! Maybe she wrote under her lap.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know. Because they all leave. And the captain's like, "Well, we warned them at least. I don't know, they didn't give us anything." Sherlock's like, maybe they did. Let's look in the trash.
He pulls out a napkin out of the trash and it says, find code name, whatever.
Yossarian.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yardashian. So the
Yim Yardashian.
Yim Yardashian. So now they're back at the brownstone. And Sherlock is trying to find
Yim Yardashian.
Yim Yardashian. And Clyde is upside down on the stack of papers, just looking like an upside down turtle. And Joan is like, "Don't use Clyde as a paperweight." And Sherlock's like, "Don't call it by name. It'll make the soup taste weird."
I want turtle soup, not Clyde soup.
Yeah. So while he was looking for people who could have participated in this army game at the War College, Sherlock actually found Bill, their friend Bill, aka actually Todd Clark. And he's been in charge of a couple of the war games, and Sherlock's like, "I think we found Yim Yardashian."
Great. That's awesome. That's what the note said. Let's go talk to him.
Oh, but first, Joan is like, "Don't you want to know, like, what the plan was? I mean, you live in New York City. That was the target of the game. Like, don't you want to know what impending danger there might be?" And Sherlock's like,
"That's my secret, Cap. We're always in danger."
"Death's around every corner, Joan. So if you accept that, you'll be a lot more smart and cool. So now they want, so they figured out Todd Clark is Yossarian. Let's go talk to him. Bing bong, it's some agents at the door.
Uh-oh.
Hi, are you Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta come in because Colonel Clark, Tom Clark, was shot and killed.
Oh, shoot. But I was just looking for him.
He's dead.
Is he okay?
Come with us.
All right.
So they're in the same office again, I think. And they're questioning Sherlock. They're like, you talk to him, and then like 5 hours later, he's dead. You think that's a coincidence? And Sherlock's like, no, I don't. I think that whoever I was looking for also found him, and he was next on the list, and there you go. Bingity bongity. And then he says, well, do you know about this game? Maybe you did it. Do you guys do it? And they're like, you're a suspect of murder, not us. And he's like, oh, right, I have an alibi. I have a lot of security cameras in my house.
Yeah, but first they threatened him to take him to Guantanamo Bay.
Did they really? I don't remember that.
I mean, it wasn't Guantanamo Bay, but it was somewhere. And he later refers to it as a secret prison.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. And so he gets the alibi. And Joan is like, hey, I thought you said you were going to get rid of those. And Sherlock's like, no.
Well, that's when he's like, yeah, thank goodness I didn't. Otherwise, I'd be in Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. And he wanted to be brought in because then he was going to counter interrogate them. And he's like, now we know that the people in that office are clueless. They don't know shit about fuck.
So it's probably not the army guys that are killing off the red team.
Probably not. And then and then Sherlock pulls out his taxi whistle. And Joan is like, that's not gonna work. And Sherlock's like, it's actually the most effective thing. And his like cheeks puff out when he blows the whistle. It's so funny. And he's like sticking his arm out, and a taxi like drives by them. And Joan's like, see, they don't like it. Then she sticks
Puts
her
her
arm
hand out and says, hi, taxi, please.
Taxi!
And a taxi pulls over, and she looks at him like, see what can happen when you act like a normal fucking person?
I just love how weird he is. Like, he's like, I need to hail a taxi. I have a special whistle just for this. He's like, why would I yell when this is louder and more effective? So whistle. Because apparently that's what people used to hail taxis with. But who whistles, you know? Who whistles?
Not anyone I want in my taxi.
No. So now that they've discovered that Bill is dead, they're like, this is real. He was the handler for the red team. He's dead. 2 members of the red team are incapacitated or dead. We gotta get the other ones in protective custody. Meow.
Right this second.
Right now.
And Gregson's like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So they send police officers to go pick him up, and they are going to Walt's house, the army vet, and a couple uniformed officers and the landlord, and they knock on the door, and there's no answer.
They call out to him a couple times.
No answer. So landlord starts to unlock the door, and we get a shot from the inside. Mm-hmm. No pun intended, because there's a gun pointed at the door with a little laser pointer at the door. So when the door opens and the
laser tripwire
gun goes off. Uh-oh.
SpaghettiOs.
Cut to, it's okay because it was just rock salt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, the captain is like, yeah, they got, scraped up pretty bad, but they'll be okay. They're lucky it was just rock salt in those shells. And it's like, they're lucky that that's what happened to them, but like, it wasn't luck that put rock salt in there.
It's like, wow, they're pretty lucky that this is in the middle of an episode and not the beginning. That's the only time people die in elementary. Nobody ever dies in this show.
That's true.
It's always like someone gets shot and then, oh no, and then they're in the hospital.
Yeah. So Captain and Bell are looking at the crime scene, the, booby trapping situation. And Sherlock sends a text that's got a picture of the booby trap and is like, so seems like Walt's really the suspect now, huh? And they're like, who texted him this? What the heck? And he texts Bell, and it's, Bell and Captain are trying to have a regular conversation, and Bell just keeps getting like, bing, 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 in the background. And he's like, ugh, I gotta just read these texts. And the texts are like, the others safe. We have to find McClanahan because we have to find Walt because, clearly he did it. Are the others safe yet? Have you gotten them into protective custody?
Are they safe? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Oh, never mind. I found him.
What? I found Walt.
And then Bell, Sherlock calls him and Bell picks up immediately and he's like, how did you find him? And Sherlock's like, I didn't. I just wanted to talk to you.
I just missed you.
just missed
I
you.
knew you'd pick up the phone if I said I had Walt.
They say, yes, the other two of the other team members are in protective custody. They are safe. Mr. Dresden is taking a while to get into protective custody, but the other two are there already. And Sherlock's like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to him then. Don't wait up for me at the McClanahan place. And Bell's like, we weren't, cause you're suspended.
Yeah. We were not waiting for you. We do not want you here.
Yeah, good, don't come. So they go to Mr. Dresden. Mr. Dresden is one of the members of the red team. They go to his house and they ask him about Walt. And he's like, yeah, I was kind of his only friend, seemed like.
Yeah, when the four of them are in the police office together at the first time we meet all of them, Walt is very off-put by all of this and wants to leave, but it's Mr. Dresden, so it's like, let's hear them out. And Walt decides to stay.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, so, we're talking to you because we think Walt is a suspect. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. And they ask him about it, and he says, yeah, the plan that we came up with was disturbing. It affected us all differently. And, I went back to church and reconnected with my brother. Walt got more into the, paranoia and stuff. And he was always talking about how he wanted to sell the plan. And, if everyone else was dead, the plan would be more expensive and you'd get more money for it. So, maybe he finally followed through on his plan to do that. And they're like, okay, where do you think he is now? You're his only friend. He must have confided in you a little bit. And he's like, yeah, he does have a bunker in New Jersey. And they're like, all right, to New Jersey. And Sherlock calls Bell. And he's like, he's in New Jersey.
And Bell's like, nuh-uh, he's not.
He's in the alley.
He's on the concrete in front of me.
Yeah, so he's dead. And Sherlock goes to that crime scene, and he was shot and then covered with a blanket.
Yeah, because Sherlock notices some aquamarine threads on Walt's face or chest. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what's that from? Mm-hmm. It's just like, well, there was a blanket on him when we got him here.
Yeah. And he's like, that indicates, shame. I've watched a TV show about profilers before. So it must be somebody, he must have meant something to the killer.
Right, which is a little weird because Walt doesn't have any friends.
Well, he has one friend who we met. And Sherlock's like, we gotta get down to the protective custody hotel right now. Also, they should rename that hotel. Joan, by the way, is helping. Joan's not there.
Because Joan stayed with Mr. I
Dresden.
almost said Mr. Davenport. I'm not sure what that's from.
I don't know either.
But yeah, she stays back because his wife has ALS, which is why it's taking him so long to get to the hotel, because it takes a little while to get ready. Mm-hmm. So she stayed behind because she's a wonderful angel of a being.
And also, she's a medical professional, former medical professional.
Yeah, but not all doctors would just stay. They'd be like, okay, good luck. I have other things to do. She also stays because she's a wonderful person.
You got a good point.
Thank you.
Anyway, so now they're in protective custody, the Dresdens. Mm-hmm. They're with this cop, and they're like, oh, is there anybody else around? Do you have any family members who will miss you? Or, just wondering. And the cop's like, yeah, you guys are the last people to be here. And he's like, oh, that's great. I'm going to punch you now.
In the back of the head and knock you out.
Yep. And he knocks the cop out, and he ties him up, I think, and then he runs out of his hotel room with a gun, because he's going to shoot the other people in protective custody.
Ah.
One of them is at the ice machine, and he, goes to shoot her, and a cop who's in the parking lot who got tipped off by Sherlock, who figured it out, and is like, Mr. Dresden, don't shoot! And so, that's one of them saved, at least. But he runs back into his hotel room. And now Sherlock has showed up at the hotel. And Mr. Dresden has taken the cop hostage. Also, when they show him taking the guy hostage, he's tied up and he's got zip ties on his hands and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he's also on a pillow on the floor.
Yeah, very comfy.
He's very considerate of him.
Very sweet.
So Dresden's demands, his hostage demands, for releasing the cop.
Not money, not a way to escape. It's simply the other members of the red team delivered to him with a bow. Mm-hmm. In a pizza box. With a hole cut out of the pizza box, porn style. Extra sausage.
but it's two whole people.
Extra sus.
Yeah, it's a big pizza. So Sherlock goes to the captain and he's like, listen, I know what this guy is thinking. I can get the man out. And Captain's like, you are suspended, and I'm mad at you.
I'm not gonna trust the lives of one of my detective to a suspended asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And Sherlock's like, I promise I will not get this guy killed. So he's allowed to go in. And he calls up Dresden and he's like, hi, I'm here. Would you let me in? I'm like texting instead of ringing the doorbell because I'm a millennial.
I'm texting. He says I'm texting on the phone call.
Yes, he does. That's what we do now. You know, nobody rings the doorbells anymore.
They just call you to say they're texting.
Yes. So Mr. Dresden lets him in, and Sherlock's like a cool cucumber.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, it's good to see you face to face. And don't you think? You mind if I raid the minibar? NYPD is paying. My sober companion probably wouldn't like it. Ha ha. Hoo hee hee. Ho ho.
Ha ha.
Ah. And
You got any heroin drinks?
jeez. So Sherlock knows that Mr. Dresden does not want money because shooting people to death surrounded by cops is not the kind of plan that you escape from.
Right.
And this guy's smart enough to know that. So what is he doing? Why does he want these people? Sherlock says, clearly the plan is not to sell this for money, but just to have it gone. Like, you're killing people and incapacitating them so that... I keep saying incapacitating. I just mean removing the part of their memory that... Blah,
Yeah.
blah. So, why are you so certain that the plan would leak? Because, you know, they went 2 years before anybody died of anything.
Yeah. Look, why are you so certain that the plan's going to leak, and why are you doing all of this now?
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Dresden explains that 2 years after the war game, his wife's ALS started happening. And it's a really horrible degenerative disease. And, you know, people kept coming up to them with offers, with money. And somebody offered him that they would help with his wife's ALS. Yeah. And he's like, I knew it was a lie, but it was still really tempting.
Right.
And I knew that eventually somebody would get it, an offer as tempting as that.
And they take it.
So can't do that. And then he says, you know, Sherlock, I'm really glad that you came in here to talk to me. Because now I have 2 police people and I can kill you and they'll know I'm serious. And Sherlock's like, oh, no, that's not...
You don't have to do that.
That wasn't my plan. I didn't want that to happen.
But then thinking quickly, he's like, killing me and the other 2 red team people wouldn't stop this plan from getting out. This plan is out. You're not the only ones that know about it.
I figured it out hours after I got the case.
Yeah, he's like, it was classified, but that doesn't mean that only 3 people ever can see it. You know, it's in a memo. People have seen it. People have talked about it. I figured it out. I told a colleague about it. I wrote it down.
I changed my AIM sign-off to it.
I bought a blimp. Mm-hmm. And on the side of it, wrote down the plan.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to see because it's so far away, but it's there.
It's there. Nobody reads the classifieds anymore, but it's in there. So it's out. And Dresden's like, wow, huge if true. So what's the plan? If you actually know it, what is the plan? And he cocks the gun, is pointed right at Sherlock's face. And then we cut to Sherlock leaving the room, alive.
And well.
He's totally fine.
Not shot.
Nope. Not in the face or anywhere.
Nope.
And Captain is like, how did you do that? And Sherlock's like, well, I used my very large, gelatinous brain to form a theory very quickly. And carefully.
Greg's like, you guessed? And Sherlock's like, well, obviously I'd been thinking about it, and I had a few theories, and I just picked the most likely one.
Crazy.
Crazy that the writers of Elementary just casually told us that if he wanted to, Sherlock could be a domestic terrorist.
Mm-hmm. He could kill hundreds of thousands of people really quickly.
No problem.
But I mean, Joan knows how to kill people with putting something in their IV drip. You know, we all have a potential. If we follow our dreams, and our dreams are murder.
Yeah, follow your heart.
Hopefully, your heart does not tell you to murder people.
Yeah.
But we all have we're all more powerful than we think.
Follow a heart and then stab it.
So Sherlock says, Captain, you know, I think we should talk. And Captain says, I think, shut the fuck up. but you're right. And he says, there's this bar. We'll meet there in an hour. Which, Sherlock this is the second time that Captain has been like, if you want to talk about your sobriety, you can meet me at a bar and we'll hang out. I'm like, no.
Can we just go get like a nice bub of tea?
Yeah, a big old bub.
Bub of tea.
A bub of tea.
Bub of tea.
A bub of gum shrimp. And so Sherlock meets the captain at the bar. And he's like, Captain, I am sorry that you didn't like my torture plan. And it be like that sometimes. So.
Well, he actually starts by saying what you said. He's like, yo, kind of fucked up that you brought me to a bar.
Yeah.
And Gregson's like, listen, if I'm going to have this conversation with you, I'm going to have a drink in me.
Yeah, like it's not about your feelings. It's about mine. So, yeah. And so he does this Sherlock apology where he's like, I regret the circumstances I regret the strain that those circumstances put on the relationship, but I did sign up for them and I was prepared to like go to jail for killing this dude. So
but I didn't. So stop being a fucking baby and let me back on the team because I save lives.
It was attempted. I didn't do it. And Captain is like, you are such a baby. And yes, you're special. You're a very special boy and you know it. You're the specialest boy in all of Manhattan. But I don't like it, and you're kind of a dick all the time. And fine, you can come back to work, but that doesn't mean I'm going to trust you. And it also doesn't mean that I'm not about to punch you.
In the belly.
In the belly.
And he does. Mm-hmm. He gets up and he's like, you're back on the team, but first, gut punch.
Yeah. Sherlock looks like it really hurt.
Oh, it's good. It's great acting because he's leaned up against the bar and there's just a vein popping out the side of his head.
Yeah, his whole head looks like really swollen up. So they're back at the Brownstone and Sherlock says, well, Joan, slurp, slurp, slurp. I'm reinstated. Slurp, slurp. And Joan is like, what kind?
You eating soup?
Are you eating soup?
He's like, yeah, it's nice and tasty.
Slurp, 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 slurp.
It's so green and yummy.
Slurp, slurp. And Clyde's sitting on my lap. And he pulls Clyde out from under the table on his lap where he was. Puts him on the table.
Oh, sorry. Did we mention when he fed him the lettuce? He then says to Joan, well, I gotta fatten him up before he makes a good soup.
Yeah.
But lettuce, then he didn't.
Lettuce, the famously fattening food.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
He's like, it's split pea.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not gonna eat him, Joan. These are majestic creatures.
Probably gonna outlive both of us.
Mm-hmm. I also would like to point out that Sherlock has a pretty normal size bowl for soup, I would say. Maybe on the small side. But he does have a big ol' spoon. Because all Sherlock knows is bowl and spoon is spoon. So then Joan is like, okay, so you're going to tell me what happened with Gregson? And Sherlock says nothing. And Joan says, okay, good night. Bye.
That's the end.
And that's the end of the episode.
That's the end. So really, we got some character development between Sherlock and Gregson, and some Sherlock and Clyde.
Yeah. Clyde is such a great character. I mean, he's a pet, but he has some great appearances. He's pretty funny. I'm looking forward to seeing him get bigger.
Yeah.
Because I remember him being bigger. So like him being small now.
Yeah.
Means they either at some point swap him over with a bigger one, or he slowly grows, you know? I wonder if it's like a child actor thing where he is being played by one turtle or a bunch of turtles.
They absolutely have a bunch of turtles.
I know. It would be nice if it was one turtle. Or like a pair of twin turtles. Like how you have to do with babies.
Yeah. Or Lindsay Lohan's.
Right. Did you...
I didn't actually mean Lindsay Lohan. I meant Mary-Kate and Ashley.
And Lindsay Lohan's.
And Lindsay Lohan.
So that was our episode. If you have any thoughts about it, or would like to see videos of Balto doing dog things, such as standing and sniffing, you can go to our Twitter at LMNOPcast, where we have we've put in a call for questions about conspiracy theories, comments, concerns, questions about conspiracy theories. We've got some questions.
Woo!
So our first message comes from Roy, friend of the show, at Semper Funny Benui, who says, One time, the lady I share my desk with at work spent like 20 minutes teaching me about how way in the past Earth collided with Nibiru, and the Anunnaki are our ancestors, or however that whole mess goes. Okay, I stopped listening. Anyway, which characters are descended from god aliens? So, is that a Scientology thing?
I don't know. Also, for the record, you didn't just ask for questions, you asked for people's favorite conspiracy theories, which is why we got that.
Oh, yeah. What is the Nibiru and... well, it's not real, is what it is.
I don't know.
So,
I read that, and I was like, oh, that's great. I didn't understand any of it.
yeah, makes sense. It is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but most conspiracy theories, I recognize the parts. I just don't recognize the robot you made with those parts. This, I don't know half of the words.
So, which characters are descended from god aliens? Clyde.
Oh, that was a question at the end. Which of the character... I thought when you read that, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Witches are descended from the moon gods.
No! Which of the characters? I would say Angus is probably a skeleton of an alien with a hard shell. And I think that's it.
No, the shoe serial killer, the one that killed them and then stole one of their shoes. Yeah, he's definitely descended of the god aliens, and being on Earth and being around lesser people just messed him up.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why he had a son.
That's why he had a son, to try to pass on his god alien DNA.
Spoilers.
Spoiler for the
Previous-
episode that you probably already listened to.
Yeah. Next question comes from Antigone Progony, at Antigone Progony, who says, when I was a high school senior, I did a presentation on how the FBI flooded the market with intentionally bad sci-fi movies in the 60s to discredit and ridicule the notion that extraterrestrial life existed. I did it as a bit at first, but honestly, I don't not believe it. Also, what roles do you think the characters of Elementary would play if they were in a corny 1960s sci-fi B-movie? I didn't think that this was a joke until you said I did it as a bit. And then I was like, oh, right. No, yeah, that's a bit. Because I could see it. I could see it like in like 1970 and on, like doing like movies where somebody goes to the moon to be like, see, this is what it would look like if there was a fake moon landing.
Yeah.
But characters, okay, bad 60s sci-fi B-movie. Are these the ones where like aliens visit Earth or we go to space?
Both. It could be either.
I think Belle would be the person that would be like, you're telling me aliens visited Earth? I'll believe it when I see it. And then he's like, oh fuck, they're real. Aliens are real. Captain
Sherlock is an alien.
Yeah, Sherlock is an alien. Captain Gregson would have alien wife. Joan would be a space scientist. Mm-hmm. And they would be very nebulous what her, like, specialty was. She would just be, like, the scientist.
You very rarely see her doing actual science.
But it's, like, computers, chemistry, space stuff, maps.
Computers the size of warehouses.
Yes. Yes. Because it's sci-fi, and it's the 60s, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because it's the 60s. Yeah, I like that. What else? I bet Sherlock would, if he watched original Star Trek in the 60s, he would be, like, annoyed at how inaccurate it is. You know? And Joan would be like, you're just supposed to enjoy the outfits and the weirdness. It's not supposed to be good acting or correct planetscapes.
Yeah.
Sherlock would be like, how do the tribbles move? So those are our questions for the week.
Well, question for you. What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
My favorite conspiracy theory. I wish I had planned ahead of time. I don't really have one. Do you have
Well,
one?
I have one because my ex was a conspiracy nut. And I always treated this like she was joking. Unfortunately, I don't think she was. She doesn't fully or at all believe that dinosaurs existed.
No! Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah. She's like, it just doesn't make sense.
Why wouldn't it make sense?
I'm like, how does it... What? She's like big lizards walking around.
Yes.
I don't buy it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What's not to believe? They were big because there was more oxygen in the air. Okay, that does sound
But yeah, that was the moment I knew. So
I gotta break up with this person.
So 20 months later, I did.
You coward.
I was just like, maybe she's joking. Maybe she's joking.
Joking. It's like when people are like really into astrology. Like, no shade to those people, but I'm always like, do you really think? Do you really believe this? You don't, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like that because I'm a Leo.
Hey,
you know?
My horoscope said that I was going to have a lot of different feelings about a lot of different people today, and that's been true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't believe you're thinking and feeling about other people when I'm right here.
Sorry.
We'll talk about this in couples therapy. No. Anyway, my favorite conspiracy theory. So I don't believe in the conspiracy theory that like Bush did 9/11, but I do have a funny 9/11 was an inside job story.
Okay.
Which is that I was in a poli-sci class. I was in a lot of poli-sci classes because I majored in political science. But freshman year, I was in this class, or sophomore, no, whatever. It doesn't matter what year it was. But I was in this class where people were talking about something. I don't remember. I don't remember how it came up. But what I was trying to say was that it's not that it's not that the attacks on 9/11 were pre-planned by the American government, but they were the fallout from that was manipulated to just be whatever the government like kind of wanted to do anyway, or like the Bush administration wanted to do anyway. Yeah, right.
But we went to war with the people that did it. We fought Saudi Arabia.
I don't remember that so much. So that's what I was trying to say.
Yep.
But what I said was, I'm not saying that 9/11 was an inside job, but it was very politically convenient. And people in the class were like, I was like, I said I'm not saying that. Yeah, that would be, I did know somebody. When I did my study abroad, I knew a British guy who was like, I watched a video about it. I watched a documentary about it that was very convincing. If you look at the way that tower fell, it looked like a pre-planned destruction. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. It's almost as if the architect knew that he was building a building surrounded by a bunch of other buildings. So the building was designed to collapse on itself in case anything ever happens and not be a domino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
Also,
you can just show footage of whatever you want and say that it's from that. You know? Here is a picture of me squeezing my fat butt, and here's a picture of the tower right before it got hit. Looks kind of a lot like me squeezing my fat butt, don't you think? Yeah, it's the same picture. What is it? So anyway, now that we have enriched your minds.
Bush did fat butt.
He wishes. That's the end of our episode for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Noisepace.xyz for hosting us. Thank you to Noah Geist for our intro song, Summer Geist for our pod art. You, the listener, for listening and for mailing us a check for $5,000.
Appreciate it.
You know where to send it.
It's going all to Reese's Puffs.
Oh, yum. And I'm Val Flight Cub. You can find me on Twitter at FlightCub. And you can also find me just chilling in our Discord server, which is our pinned tweet. You can join the Discord server. Come join our discussion. Tell us more about your conspiracy theories. Alec, where can they find you?
You can find me by locking yourself in the closet and screaming.
Great. Thanks so much for listening. This marble will keep on rolling.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.